Have you ever fallen in love with a junkie? A junkie, chewa last junkie. Have you ever fallen in love with a junkie? Eh? That's what happened in this book. That's what happened in this book. This is the final book of the Billionaire Dreamland series. Last time I posted the other book, and now I finished this one. I read this one in a space of 2 days because obviously I'm a lover. I don't go anywhere, so I just sit down and read books. So that's what happened in here. Now, let me tell you guys what happened. So this guy in this book used to be a hockey player, like you know those sports vacuvial. So he used to be a hockey player and he was a good player and all of that stuff. And he was a good guy. So this girl fell in love with this guy when they were like super, super young. They were like teenagers or something like that. So when he was playing his hockey and all of that, he hurt himself, had an injury and couldn't play anymore. So now that and a couple of other issues, he had some daddy issues because his father was like abusive and used to call him a failure and call him all of these kind of things. So that coupled with those daddy issues and his mom dying when he was super young, this guy turned to alcohol. And as you guys know on this page, me, I don't support that. So it was a very difficult read for me, like in the beginning, because each time something went wrong, this guy went and started drinking. Like each time, it was so annoying. I almost quit reading it, but I was like, you know what, let me power through this until he started getting his life together. But so sometime before this, when he was going through his addiction to alcohol and some like painkillers and some oxy or something like that, he was addicted and all of that stuff. His grandfather had told him something about his behavior, and then he got upset about it, and then he broke up with the girl and left because he stays in Lusaka and then the girl stays in like Kafue. So he would go there for holidays and they would spend time together and all of that. But then during that time, he broke up with her and said, hey, this relationship didn't even make sense and blah, 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 blah. So the girl was heartbroken. He had gone to rehab a couple of times. Now, this is what I'm going to say. Going to rehab only works if the person wants to change, because we've seen it time and time again. If they don't want to change, they're going to keep drinking. They're going to keep doing whatever they're doing. Anyways, back to the story. 6 years later, this guy has to go back. Because why? His grandfather has died and he's left an instruction. If you remember from last video, every brother got an instruction. So the instruction that the grandfather left for this brother, his name was Callahan or Kyle. The instruction was to go back to Kafue, to their farmhouse, lake house, and to basically sell the house. But before he sells the house, he has to stay there for like 3 months, I think. Like 3 months or something like that. He had to stay there. And then when he got there, he found his ex-girlfriend, the one that he broke her heart, right? So the girl was still upset with him, but she tried to move on and all of that stuff. So he gets there, he finds the girl has got a child. Like, this child looks like me. The hair looks like my hair. The eyes look like my eyes. Is this my child? And then the girl is like, are you mad? Why would this be your child? No, then it means that you slept with someone right after we broke up. The girl was like, you're stupid. Are you stupid? Anyways, after a back and forth, he finally found out that child was not her actual child, but her sister's child. Her sister is an addict as well, and she gave up the guardianship of the baby immediately the baby was born. So this girl started taking care of the baby. Anyways, fast forward, they bicker, all of that, blah, blah. Until he finally convinces her to sell the house, right? Convinces her to sell the house. And then the problem was, each time there's an issue, each time something happens, he goes to drink. Each time. And always that kukolewa katlabish, not kukolewa kwa munshi, where he's, breaking things and stuff like that. Anyways, the small girl really liked him. The child really liked him. She would have him hang around and all of that. And he started falling in love, like, with the girl and the child and all of that. At some point, they became like super close. They became friends. She forgave him and he was trying his best to change. Anyways, so this book was about 56 or 57 chapters, almost 60 chapters, this book. In this book, only 3 or 2 of those chapters, it had some adult content, which I loved. Honestly, I now find myself loving books that have proper story, proper romance, and very little adult content, because it's just like, I want to feel the love. So, anyways, at some point things got really bad between them and Shani. So he didn't tell her that it was an inheritance clause that he had to sell the house. He just told her, I want to sell the house because it reminds me of my past and all the hurt and all of what. Vagero, vaponya no mkoshi. No, he wants to change, what. At some point, she starts finding out that she overhears a conversation and she finds out that it's actually for the inheritance. She gets pissed off, blah, 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 blah. But the whole premise of this story, I feel like I would give it maybe like a 4 because it didn't have much of a plot twist, because it was mostly following him and his struggle with addiction and all of that stuff. So it didn't have much going on. So even if I'm telling you this story, there's no a lot of like wow revelation type of things. You get my point? Yeah. Anyways, the guy finally says, you know what, I love you and I love the child and I want to be in your lives forever, but I can't be in your lives if I'm still struggling with this. So he decided to go for rehab. Like this time he decided to do it for himself and not because of any other thing. So he went for rehab for like a month and then he came back and he joined a group, like a support group for his alcohol, what, and started, living life. This guy was a billionaire, by the way, so he had money. When he came back, he had like a new car. He goes like, no, my old car was a sports car, so it wasn't safe for the kid who was like 5 or something. So I bought a new car that's safe for the child. Then he bought this whole building where this girl wanted to have her shop, but she could never afford the rent because it was expensive. So what does this guy do? He buys the whole building, and then whenever someone else calls to ask for rent about that building, he will tell them a very high price. But the day she calls to ask for rent, he just tells her it's $500. She's like, what? What's this? Anyway, so he helped her to start her bakery and her business and all of that stuff. He got clean and they got married and what. So it's just one of those stories that it the end, but the journey to the end was quite difficult, especially like to read and go through the emotions and all of that. There was a time when before he went for rehab, and the girl was super upset with him because he kept relapsing and he had lied to her, and she thought he didn't love her and he was just using her to get his inheritance and all of that, and he was just talking and expressing himself in a condition. So misozi moments, so that's Jesus love. But yeah, so that's what happened in the story, and the girl finally forgave him and all of that stuff. So this is the last book in the series. I didn't make a story time for the first book. I don't want to make a story time. Anyways, yeah, so this is the last one. I'm going to move to a different series and see how I'm going to feel about that one. But this is the last one. Thank you so much, you guys, for the comments, the likes, the shares, everything like that. It keeps me motivated to even share. However, if I don't share and I don't share, please, I beg, don't start putting pressure on me, because this is just something that I read for leisure, right? I just read for leisure and to pass time. So yeah, anyways, that's what happened in this book, The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. You guys can get this book. It was quite thick, by the way, but you can get this book around or online or whatever, and you can read it on your own. It's really nice. It does tug on your heart, your emotions. Songa umadila maningi monga ine uzalila. That's what I'm gonna tell you. But it was a really, really nice love story. And see you next time when I post another review. Yeah, bye.